Sponsored by Dennis J. Courtney, M.D., Director of the Courtney Medical Group, located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray, Pennsylvania. For more information or to make an appointment, call 724-942-3002. That's 724-942-3002 for Dennis J. Courtney, M.D.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to AM Impact on Your Health. AM Impact on Your Health, where every day our goal is to have you learn at least one thing to help you live better and longer. AM Impact on Your Health, heard each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney. I'm with you each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9. AM Impact on Your Health, where each day you'll find current medical news, knowledgeable guests, fascinating health topics, and of course, where we do encourage you to call in to join in today. But today, folks, the Ruskies are coming. They'll be more polite. The Russians are coming. Better said, the Soviets are arriving. We're really fortunate today. I think it may be an international first. I'll check with Roland on this, but we're going to have the discoverer, inventor, and chief cook and bottle washer of a concept that we've been bringing to you for a number of months now. It's, I guess, all servicing around an acronym of three letters, BAC. Now that stands for Bioengineered Algae Concentrates. And if you listen to this show for any length of time, you get the idea that there's a new kind of supplementation out there, one that pretty much covers it all, but invented by a Soviet scientist. We've heard his story many times through the eyes and ears and voice of Roland Thomas. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to hear from the actual scientist himself, Dr. Michael Hiriak. We're going to give, at our first break, we'll call up Roland and discuss a couple of matters with him sort of in preparation, and then we'll take another break about half past the hour, and we'll bring His Eminence himself on, Dr. Michael Hiriak. I've already alerted Bill at the switchboard. He's going to have to deal with Dr. Hiriak first. We'll find out how good his English is. I'm told it's not bad. And at least by the switchboard handling it with Bill at the helm, voice quality-wise, there'll be no blip on the radar screen. The Ruskies are coming today. Bioengineered algae, the inventor, the discoverer, the scientist himself, Dr. Michael Hiriak, going to be our featured guest today. Hope you enjoy the show. Now, in the course of the show, of course, you can call and ask a question or make a comment. That number, as always, will be 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. I hope you enjoy today. I'm getting a little excited. I think, how does Chris Matthews say, a little tingle going up the leg. All right, looking at the up-and-coming schedule, it is, this week is action-packed. Now, on Wednesday, we're finally going to take a little pause to sort of open them up to allow you to chime in. It's been a while, folks. I can look at our schedule here. We've packed it jam full since the beginning of the month. We're coming up in the 18th today, tax return day. God bless you. 20th, we'll have an open phone. 21st, you have heard about it, and if you've heard about it enough, you may have decided already to take me up on my offer. We're going to be doing another testing seminar here on the 21st through the use of a device called MCG. And that stands for multifunctional cardiogram. I still contend I don't like the term. I think it's not descriptive enough, but we'll let it go at that. This is an electronic gizmo wizardry that allows us to gain information just like you had a full-blown cardiac catheterization without ever having a cardiac cath. I keep getting that verified every time we talk to Mr. Jerry Singleton. Anyway, a few slots still remain. I noticed that they're all late in the afternoon. I think Tim just let them there hoping and thinking that we were going to get behind. I'm going to tell you, we won't get behind. And from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., 32 slots, 32 patients I'm working to get filled up. There are a couple of slots left. If you think you have a mind to want to do this, now is the time after 9 o'clock this morning. Give us a call at the office at 724-942-3002, and Tim will sign you up for one of those remaining slots. Now, next Friday's still an open slot, so hey, don't know really what we'll talk about then. Maybe another open phone. Next Monday, a week from today, we have the opportunity, as I enjoy doing, to interview the featured speaker at the Freedom of Choice in Cancer Therapy Group. They really pulled some switcheroos this time. This month, it's not third Thursday. It is fourth Wednesday. The speaker at the Freedom of Choice in Cancer Therapy Group is going to be on the 27th of the month. That's a far cry from the 21st, which you would have expected. Hopefully you already heard this announcement. You've already made the change. If not, do so now, please. The featured speaker will be a female, Ricky Pepin. The byline of the biographical I have in front of me, she just refers to herself as a Christian author, teacher, and a mom, as if that isn't enough. Anyway, she's out on a lecture tour. She promotes a book which is being picked up by a number of teaching institutions, medical institutions, she calls God's Health Plan, The Audacious Journey to a Better Life. Evidently, utilizing this plan, she was able to help one of her chronically ill children, whom the medical community said, we have no solution, we can't help you. And evidently the story, we hope to get pieces of it, to titillate you a bit on our Monday show, to encourage you to come up and hear her at the Freedom of Choice in Cancer Therapy Group. Make the note now, the 27th of the month, not the 21st. And the time and everything else, the place, all that's the same. Days Inn, south of Butler on Route 8, just about a mile on the right-hand side. 7 p.m. the time. And hopefully you will make the adjustment, and hopefully you'll be able to go on up there. I know you enjoy it so much. Now, that's in the evening on the 27th. On the morning of the 27th, we're here doing our radio show with you, and our guest is going to be Mr. Brian Foltz. He represents a company. There's so few out there that have high integrity and high quality. One that has always held that, at least that illusion, and it turns out to have come to fruition each and every time I looked at this company. The company, well known, called Standard Process. The discoverer of the company, Royal Lee, who had never met, but have heard so much about him, and he evidently was a genius of his time. Anyway, Brian Foltz, our new representative, replaced old Jimmy Moresic. I know you remember him well. Used to come on our show frequently, came to the office frequently. We're going to be talking about some of the Standard Process lines, as we did the last time Brian was with us. We're going to focus on the thyroid issue. It's been a big topic this month, and as you'll see in a moment, it'll continue even into next. And that's just about the way April is shaping up right now. Now, with respect to May, hey, we got a lot going on, right? Because, Susan Smith-Jones is going to be with us on the 4th. She's returning to complete their discussion about a cleanse, a spring cleaning, if you will. Want to concentrate a lot on dyes, she's told me, skin, and detoxification. She'll be our featured guest on Wednesday the 4th. Now, in lieu of the fact that the succeeding week is really going to be an interesting time around here, Dr. Edward Condrat, a noted board-certified ophthalmologist, trained in all the conventional means by treating eye and ophthalmological problems, ventured off into uncharted territory. Literally, he blazoned that territory, becoming one of the only homeopathic ophthalmologists in the country, for that matter, I think, the world. He has treatment seminars that he holds all over the country, but he has a fondness for Pittsburgh. You see, he comes from here, and when he was in town, had a pretty flourishing practice. He picked up the whole kit and caboodle and moved it to Phoenix, Arizona, but he keeps traveling the country with his treatment seminars. This particular one is going to be held right here in my office. Two kinds of seminars. There is a general seminar that's going to be held on the 9th between 6 and 8 o'clock. Now, that's 6 and 8 o'clock. That is a Monday, a little off schedule because we normally like to hold these on a Sunday. Turns out, however, a little bit of a screw-up. We had originally planned it for the 8th, and that's Mother's Day. So it's been shifted. It'll be held here 6 to 8 in my office on the 9th. Then if you have an inflammation, you think you might like to be treated by him. And that's really why he comes to Pittsburgh. His treatment seminar will be held on the 9th, the same day of the general seminar, the 10th and the 11th, when you actually can get into play these ophthalmological treatments that are so unique, so interesting, and are not just available. They're just not available in the Pittsburgh area at all. In fact, they're not available in any other place in the country that I know of, and I've heard him talk about, meaning that's Dr. Edward Conrad himself. So if you have, and I could tell by listening to the phone calls that we had when we did the shows with Ed on board, you have some real eye issues out there, and it appears to me, as is the case with Ed, that you're not real happy with what your current treatment plan and regime with conventional therapies had led you to in terms of the conclusion and the resolution of your case. I get the impression and not really resolved at all, at least from the phone calls we had. If you're in that situation and you'll need to do something about it or have to continue to become comfortable with whatever vision disturbances you remain with, it's pretty tough to do, I suggest you take us up on an offer to either become a patient as a member of the treatment group or at a minimum come to see Ed on the 9th between 6 and 8 o'clock. The number to do either to reserve a seat for the general treatment seminar, as well as if you're interested in becoming a part of the actual treatment seminar itself, the phone number is 1-800-430-9328. They'll reserve a slot for you. Once again, 1-800-430-9328. Do not make that phone call till sometime after 11 o'clock today, maybe 12 o'clock. Because it's Phoenix hours and they're a little bit behind. And, oh, by the way, on Friday, now I know you enjoyed, because I could tell how you responded with the phone calls that you had in. They were really early on in the show. You were chomping in the bit to get at our good friend, Dr. David Brownstein. I could tell you've come to trust him very much, as I have too. His books are well done. Anyway, we got into thyroid, and we never got very far, because I felt really compelled to make certain that you could contribute. So off air, we found a date for his return. You can put it on your calendar. Dr. David Brownstein will be back with us. We'll be talking about thyroid some more, plenty of issues that still are unresolved or unspoken about that I'm sure that you have questions on. You won't want to miss this one. Dr. David Brownstein returns on the 13th. Friday the 13th. Didn't know about that. Friday the 13th, it will be Dr. David Brownstein with us here on the show. And that's the way the schedule is shaping up right now. Now, rather, and I've got a couple things on my plate. I'd rather not do that today. Looks like I'll have some time to bring that into play on Wednesday, where we open them up to you. So let's do this. Let's take a short break. And in that interim period, let's give a call up to Toronto, near Toronto, Canada. I'm going to be calling Roland Thomas. You know him also well. He's brought to us the story of Dr. Michael Hiriak and BAC, Bioengineered Algae Concentrates, but in preparation for the man himself, coming along about midway through the hour. See how this works out? I'm getting pretty excited. We'll be back in a moment with Roland.
You become confused about how best to manage your health. It's no wonder. It seems that every time you turn on the television or radio, another expert has yet another suggestion for you to follow that seems to be reasonable enough, but no matter how dutifully you follow the instruction, it just doesn't quite produce the results that you were looking for. If this confusion sounds familiar to you, give us a call at the Center for Complementary Health, where we'll make some sense of the confusion based on a blending of traditional and alternative medicine that we've been perfecting over the last 7 years. We offer metabolic nutrition testing, immune system repair, natural hormone replacement therapy, chelation therapy, cutting-edge allergy correction, and a host of other safe and effective alternative therapies.
NSK Courtney, MD, is located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray. Phone 724-942-3002.
Have you been to the doctor lately? Was fatigue top of your complaint list? Even if your doctor asked you what to eat, the recommended 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day is a dream in your busy schedule. What have you learned of a product 5 years in the formulation that delivers 5 servings of fruits and minerals in just 1 ounce? That's right, it's through the Spirit. The blessings of Fruit of the Spirit are now formulated into a delicious whole fruit puree product rich in antioxidants and minerals. Your health is more than just a test result. It's a balance of physical, spiritual, and emotional factors. You work regularly to strengthen your faith. Let Fruit of the Spirit help cover your nutritional needs in a convenient and cost-effective ounce a day. Call 1-800-442-3793 for a special promotional offer. Fruit of the Spirit, a blessing for your good health. Fruit of the Spirit, 5 servings of fruits and minerals with no added sugars. That's 1-800-442-3793 for your good health. Call them now, 1-800-442-3793.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to AIM Impact on Your Health. Heard here on KHB 620 each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney with you on this tax day version of the show. It's a Monday morning version of the show. And all filings have to be there by midnight tonight. Just start the last little hint if you didn't know it already. Today, in wild anticipation, I don't know, I'm going to talk to our guest at this moment about how rare an event this may be. We may be setting the international first here today. We're here talking about something you already know a lot about. BAC is what it's been acronymed to be called, Bioengineered Algae Concentrates. We've been hearing the story of a Dr. Michael Hiriak through the mind and lips and voice of Dr. Roland Thomas. Well, Roland is with us now. Let's say good morning and welcome him back. And get ready for a real treat today because around 1:30, we're going to talk to the man himself. We have Dr. Roland Thomas in the wings. Let's bring him aboard now and say good morning, Dr. Thomas, and welcome back.
Good morning, Dennis, and I'm happy to be back.
Well, Dr. Thomas, right off the bat, you're the one that was nice enough to set this up. I think it all came about by virtue of the fact that in speaking with you, I just happened to throw out, because I got the distinct impression that maybe the answer was no, but I just threw out in the conversation, hey, how's Dr. Hiriak's English? I mean, because I had the impression that he battled with French a lot, and then you said, well, you know what, it's getting pretty good. He's teaching the seminars with that English of his, and I said, well then, if he's so doggone good at English, can we bring him on the show? You said, I think we can. Lo and behold, voila, we're just about here. Is this a first? Has he been on a radio show like this in the past at all?
I don't think so. He's been on some teleconference, and I'm glad you bring it up because you mentioned my twirl a few weeks ago, and we'll get quite a thicker twirl here this morning. So be ready to expect the answers a little slower.
Oh,
and,
absolutely.
They have to butt in to make sure he got the question all right and so forth.
I'm going to ask you, by the way, I think Roland is referring to the fact that when he's talking to us during the show, you can definitely have a distinct, he has a twirl. I said he had a twirl, French-Canadian kind of twirl, which I'm certainly used to hearing. It wasn't anything big. But you say Dr. Hiriak's twirl may be a little more emphatic than yours, correct?
Yes.
We'll take our time with Dr. Hiriak. And then I think you just confirmed that except for scientific conferences that he may have had with other doctors throughout the world, literally, this is the first public outing. The guy's coming out of the closet. We're a first here. This is the first international happening, and I'm really proud to be considered as the one who's going to announce him in his debut here, and it'll be an interesting remaining half hour that we have with him. Knowing Dr. Hiriak as you do, good to see. How do you feel about this? Is he nervous or anxious at all, or is he completely?
Well, I just spoke to him earlier, and I said this is going to be. He says, "How can I be useful?" He really meant, what can we do in half an hour? And I said. Really, this is more to present to Dennis's audience, been listening to me for those months. And I said, it's good sort of exercise. He says, yeah, it's good exercise for me more than for Dennis. And of course, that's what I meant.
Well,
And so that's where it's at. He feels okay. He's a strong man. He's not a nervous type, but it is what it is.
hey, we're going to be asking him. I mean, I want to hear from him. We've heard his story, but I've been jotting down just a couple of things, and this is normally what I do. I never really get carried away with worrying about how the question is going to go, but just jot a couple of things down. I'd love to hear from the man himself. You know, that family story of his, I'm going to kick this off talking about that. I think it's such a powerful thing. I want to find out from him, in his own words, how that influenced him. And so he, and only he, can come across with the emotional component that is so oftentimes lacking when others pass that on. Let's find out how. So the questions aren't going to be real difficult. I doubt if the man could ever come up against a difficult question. Certainly on the scientific side, he's ventured way far beyond where I could even tax his brain in a minuscule amount. But on those human issues, which I think my listeners really would enjoy hearing about, I'm going to be fascinated with talking about Dr. Hiriak himself, and I'm going to do it very slow. And this is an international first, and I'll always remember it. Now, in terms of the actual supplement itself, rather than having Dr. Hiriak do that, with some remaining moments as we're working toward the halfway point, could you please describe BAC, Bioengineered Algae Concentrates, as your company BioAge, which sort of is the teaming up of yourself and Dr. Mike Hiriak, has now formulated and now available for our listeners, and especially people to come to my office to be able to enjoy, because this stuff is out and about, it's available, and it is something that I think was a novelty, but it's catching on in my office, folks. BAC. What is BAC?
It's a blend of microalgae, which are the most efficient food on Earth. If we consider food as fuel, which is really what it is, we get energy from food once we've extracted the nutrients out of it. Well, BAC has no extraction to be done. It is pure nutrients down to the core, protein, vitamins, antioxidants, minerals, and so forth that our cells need. So there is no loss of energy in consuming them. BAC is also made in such a way, composed in such a way that it has a lot of nutrients that are able to reach our brain and cross our brain or blood-brain barrier more efficiently than any food that I know on Earth at this time and possibly for decades to come. That's what the Dr. Hiriak and his team were able to achieve in 15 years of research. Yet it remains a real food, a whole food, 100% organic, safe, no toxicity. There are no known contraindications. And the results are that when you can increase nutrition or fuel or energy to the brain, then you have higher performance of your brain organs that in turn regulate all of your body's metabolism, including your muscle strength, your blood sugar is moderated better, your assimilation of nutrients is increased when you increase brain health, and so many other benefits resulting from feeding the most important part of our body, that brain of ours, which within it is this hypothalamus, the brain within the brain, that small thumb-sized organ that regulates via the endocrine system, via our glands, via our organs, via our central nervous system, all metabolism of health in our body.
Now, it was you in collaboration with Dr. Hiriak that wrote a book really describing this in very, very clear terms. I mentioned that book to you because as you're talking about the various organs in the body that there's a focus upon, you came up with a term, I think you told us that Dr. Hiriak actually used that term, and you called the book and the description of the bioengineered forms of algae as the awakening within. That's so catchy of a title when one is looking to capture a feeling. You certainly do capture the feeling with that title. That book has been it's made it around the world, I'm guessing, in a couple different ways. We actually have that book. How easy was it to put that thing together with Dr. Hiriak?
Awakening the Genius Within.
The Genius Within.
Yeah, it was a relief for me because I had not so much interviewed him, but I was close to him for a few years, and then I would repeat the story of his life when I began to promote the product to professionals and direct clients of mine, and I got really, if you wish, not tired, but of repeating. After a while, you say, well, I got to do something smart. That's when the project to write the book came, and it was a relief because I was able to get more details of his life, proceeded to a serious, if you wish, interview with him, several interviews, and we decided on a way to present his life and his research. And once it was done, that was a relief, and that I was able to distribute this book, this story, in a succinct, small 50-page book that really tells the story enough to get people excited, get people to want to know more, to want to try this product.
Well, it certainly it does a great job of talking about the life, how these discoveries came about, puts everything in a perspective that I think that the reader, and of course there are DVDs that go along with this too, and they're very helpful. It sets the right tone that takes you from the curious to the educated, and maybe to enable you to take that jump and leap yourself. Especially, I think that what grabs you is you see where he's been brought on the scene to a couple devastating situations. One involving mostly animals, the other one, and I see, involving mostly humans, and coming up against seemingly insurmountable odds, but putting in play where his research took him, and he wins in both arenas. This has got to be intriguing to any reader that reads the story of the awakening of the genius within, by virtue of the fact of saying, my goodness, something this potent, this powerful, I got to try this myself.
Yes, I think it brings this on. It's an extraordinary story that the research took place at all. It's rare that a nation stands behind a product. Yesterday I was watching PBS TV, and there was some story of the exploration of our moon and so forth. And the fact that we were able to go to the moon was because a nation stood behind the project. Otherwise, we would not have made it in this century. Similarly, with this project, there was enough funds and support that they were able to push the discovery, the development, to a point where it was actually a product that is more efficient than any supplement and any food on earth that I know. I'm 60 years old, and I've never seen something so efficient. Yet, it's not we have to be careful not to remind people it's not magic. It's not a magic pill. You cannot turn 20, 30, 40 years of mismanaging our body overnight. So it's a process. When you use this product, it's going to benefit you. It's going to be an ally, a great support in your pursuit of health, along with other good practice, good lifestyle practice.
You know, that's a very interesting parallel, because I am of the age where the launching of the quest to conquer space and to make it to the moon, and anybody from that era can well understand that mission was so well done. By the way, we were in competition with the Russians to do just that. But I think get a sense for it, to get the full faith and credit behind that mission. Have your own government do it. What a great parallel you just make by saying, in a similar fashion, the Soviets put their faith behind this gentleman, and he produced for them in a couple of different times in a way that nothing else had. So the payoff didn't become as noteworthy, didn't become as well known as maybe landing on the moon did, but it's in its own way, it ranks right up in there with doing the same thing, and maybe even surpasses it. Who knows? All right, let's do this. We're going to take a short break, ladies and gentlemen. I'm anticipating that in this time frame, we're going to have our good friend Dr. Michael Hiriak join us. All right, Roland? So we're going to take and depart a bit. Whenever we appear, if he hasn't joined us yet, Roland and I continue until he sort of gets piped on in. Oh, the anticipation now. You quivering? So am I. Okay, take a break. We'll see you in a moment.
Want to help your family eat healthier?
Okay, Rowan, you should have been
Tofu
talking about
in
a
wondrous
minute
way.
ago.
How about some real nutritional power? If your family has the typical American palate for fries, pizza, and burgers, giving your family the blessing of good nutrition is a struggle. Fruit the Spirit is the answer for your family's nutritional needs. Fruit of the Spirit is an all-natural whole fruit puree made from fresh fruits native to the Holy Land with alkalizing minerals. Fruit of the Spirit was 5 years in the formulation, the work of a team of top nutritional experts with independent science to confirm its antioxidant power. 1 ounce a day provides the equivalent of 5 servings of fruits and minerals. Fruit of the Spirit is convenient, affordable, and delicious. Even your picky family will sing the praises of Fruit of the Spirit. Give your loved ones the blessing of good nutrition. Call 1-800-442-3793 for a special promotional offer. Fruit of the Spirit, a blessing for your good health. That's 1-800-442-3793. Call them now, 1-800-442-3793.
This is Dennis J. Courtney, MD. Have you become confused about how best to manage your health? It's no wonder. It seems that every time you turn on the television or radio, another expert has yet another suggestion for you to follow that seems to be reasonable enough, but no matter how dutifully you follow the instruction, it just doesn't quite produce the results that you were looking for. If this confusion sounds familiar to you, give us a call at the Center for Complementary Health, where we'll make some sense of the confusion based on a blending of traditional and alternative medicine that we've been perfecting over the last 7 years. We offer metabolic nutrition testing, immune system repair, natural hormone replacement therapy, chelation therapy, cutting-edge allergy correction, and a host of other safe and effective alternative therapies.
Dennis J. Courtney, MD, is located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray. Phone 724-942-3002.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to AM Impact on Your Health. Heard here in KHB 620 each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney with you on this Monday version of the show. It is a chart buster, folks. It is an international first. We've been hearing a story for a number of months now, circling about a genius that has brought us something that we have been able to enjoy. And in my own case, I take this stuff every day. The story behind this genius and how this all evolved has been told to us many times through the lips and interpretation of Dr. Roland Thomas. Today, a really extra special treat. The man himself, the genius himself, the gentleman who has brought to us something that, in my opinion, I find existing no place else. His name is Dr. Michael Hiriak, and he is our special guest today. Let's say good morning and welcome aboard, Dr. Hiriak. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Dr. Courtney.
It is such a pleasure and an honor to be able to have you on this show, sir. I have enjoyed hearing about you for many months, but to hear that you would not be so concerned about, and believe you me, I'm not concerned. I speak other languages too. We're going to do just fine, sir. I promise you that the language issue is not going to be an issue today. Fair enough? As I'd like to start this, I was jotting a couple of things down, sitting here in the office before I went on the air today. One cannot really gain the appreciation as well as one can, even after hearing the first descriptions of your family status, because in your particular family, such cruelty striking a family as I think I've ever heard of before, ever, certainly befell you and your family. I wanted to ask you personally about the tragedy within your family, how that ultimately became your gauntlet that you threw down to be able to stake out where you wanted to take your own career. Could you, in your own words, describe that family certainly not a blessing. It is absolutely a curse. And how it did affect you and maybe molded the Dr. Michael Hiriak that we have today.
Roland?
I'm here.
Michel?
Roland's here.
Michel, il veut savoir le drame familial, la perte des membres de ta famille. Comment cela a impacté et a motivé ta vie à devenir un rechercheur?
Thank you very much for your invitation, and good morning, everyone. Good morning, Dr. Gardner and Roland. Yes, it was very big motivation for me to do the research because of a lot of very many members of my directive immediately family. And I understand I should do something via nutrition because our body is really genial and is available to regain our force, to regain our cells, which was attacked by different kind of virus. I chose the algae to do my research because very many qualities. For example, I choose two types of spirulina because of extraordinary nutrient value. I choose another alga, Dunaliella salina, because of high content of beta-carotene and vitamin C, especially beta-carotene and alpha-carotene. It was very great to include here the astaxanthin because of very high content of antioxidant and antioxidant power. The research I did with animals. It was very great to conduct the research of animals because I can use very many species of animals and with livestock and especially for degenerative problem. It was very very easy to do the research of the animals because the animals don't smoke, don't drink the alcohol, and without any placebo effect, and the animals don't lie never.
They don't. That is true.
Yes.
So the work that you did when you finally made a decision to enter into biology, by the way, knowing Soviet Russia in such a small amount, as I've been able to gather, this is the country that you emanate from or originate from, whereby you usually don't get to choose a thing. The Soviet government, I believe, pretty much tells you what you're going to do. Is that what happened in your case, or how was it that you were able to pursue the area of biology and move into studies of biology and ultimately help design these kinds of supplements, admittedly initially to the animal world? Were you identified by the Soviets as someone that they felt had an inclination to be a stellar star with biology, or was that your choice alone and the government didn't have a thing to do with it?
Very good question. In the first I think like that. Every time during any research, you should think about the compatibility. the compatibility of human cells with the social compatibility with nutrient cells. And it was I have a very great opportunity to use the compatibility of nutrient cells with the compatibility of human cells, and using the algae like culmination of cell nutrition of our brain, it was very difficult to find the good concept for find on big opportunity to improve the health of our body with one single nutriment. And I used one single alga, suppose, or for example, Spirulina platensis or Spirulina pacifica. I had the good results, more energy, little bit improvement of immunity, but when I chose to when I was working with advanced degenerative condition, we could only reach the stabilization and not the remission. That all, the conclusion was I need something stronger than any single alga. I began to use different recepts. Many algae like spirulina with Dunaliella with astaxanthin to can stop this degenerative problem. And I had another problem, like because it was very important. The cell's membrane of la vitesse de la lampe.
La quoi, monsieur?
La vitesse, pour utiliser la vitesse d'assimilation.
Ah, the speed.
Ah, the speed, thank you.
Thank you.
To reach with speed assimilation of it is very important to reach the speed assimilation of all the nutrients about our brain. That all the two types of spirulina, Dunaliella and astaxanthin, it proves every time that assimilation of more of 5,000 nutrients. It is very available. It was another problem to use, for example, the capacity of our brain, of our hypothalamus, using one capsule of bioalgae concentrate is immediately hypothalamus is available to keep the control, absolute control of our endocrine system. And if I give for our hypothalamus 2 or 3 or 10 times a day one capsule, 10 times daily, in our body is past very many performance, like elimination of reflex, negative reflex, conditional reflex, and to install how I can.
Well, that's okay, doctor. Let me ask you another question. because you continue to come back to the selection of the algae, those 4 specific algae. I think what just resonated a moment ago was now out of your own lips saying how much and how valuable you view this hypothalamic pituitary endocrine axis and focus in on this axis as the prime mover of correcting all homeostatic mechanisms in the body, and so I can appreciate that. When it came time to be sent to help correct the problems in the livestock community of a certain area of your country, did you already have and had you already identified these algae, been making an algae concentrate, and the Soviet government became enthralled with your work so much that they sent you with that idea in mind? Or were you sent because of your scientific acumen to resolve a problem that you had no idea how you're going to resolve it, and that led you to the discovery of bioalgae concentrates? What was first and what was second?
I'm going to clarify pour Michel, je vais t'aider à clarifier la question. La question est, est-ce que quand tu as commencé à travailler avec les fermes de volailles ou de vaches, les cochons, avais-tu déjà atteint assez de découvertes, assez de développer assez la formule pour que le gouvernement te supporte avec ses grandes recherches? Ou je crois que oui, parce que tu as fait des multiples de petites recherches avant. C'est ça la question. Je veux savoir si, au moment où tu as travaillé avec les grandes fermes, tu avais déjà une bonne formule assez puissante.
Yes,
le gouvernement.
Thank you, Roland. Sure. When I start to do the preliminary research, for example, I start with 15 or 50 poultry. When I receive the good results with 50 poultry or 50 pigs, it is a good sign. When I start to receive, when I begin to receive the good results, the good performance with alkaline keep, for example, with 100 pigs, it is a confirmation of good research, of right research. But when I come to receive the excellent results with thousands, with pigs, it is a reconfirmation that well, the research with a big farm, for example, the farm when I work this scientific center, I have 1.5 million of poultry, which the problem was the cancer of digestive tube. The result, it was already there, and every time the regeneration, the genius of the body is so strong, and more of 15% of chicken, for example, or the return in production, and eggs production. For the same results was with cancer, liver cancer, with pigs, for example. And yes, I have a big opportunity to use, because there are good results, to use this concept and big farm like farm, like pigs farm, like chicken farm, like cows farm, 18,000 or of cows, you know.
Yes.
It was very important, very interesting to do the research with leukemia with the cows. Usually 2-3% of cows was attacked by leukemia. Well, in few months, the blood formula was improved very easy with 4 capsules of biologic concentrate. Why? Because of regeneration of spinal cord, regeneration of blood cells, and that's it.
So by you starting out, if I heard you correctly, with literally a animal, and then moving to 1,000 of that species, and then ultimately 1,000,000, every time you advanced the number, the results kept coming back to confirm what your first study taught you, to be able to appreciate what you could expect when you involve tremendously large populations. Each and every step of the way, you saw that confirmation. It emboldened you. It made you feel that that what might have been just a freak accident was no accident at all, that you could program the cells to work and function in a correct way and alleviate diseases in these large animal populations, ultimately moving to, hundreds of thousands, millions of chickens and cows and the like. Now, at a point, and that point is somewhere around 1986, you have a terrible tragedy that befalls your country by a radioactive leak in the town of Chernobyl, for which the Soviet hierarchy sent you to try to help and assist in some way. How is it that you took the animal experience that was a good one, that you felt comfortable with, and knew that by applying it, or did you know that by applying those concepts you expected the same results? Or was it pretty much even undecided in your own mind that this would be a help by using bioengineered algae concentrates, that somehow you really didn't know what was going to happen, and it was an experiment for you too? So how did that all turn out whenever you took your studies and applied it to humans, specifically about the Chernobyl event?
Besoin de clarification.
Sure. Clarify.
Sure.
Roland, mais j'ai compris qu'il s'agit ce sont des mêmes résultats sur les mêmes comme les animaux durant cette catastrophe.
Ok, je te laisse répondre.
Okay. I think I understand your question. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Roland. I feel like I'm at the United Nations.
Yes, I during this catastrophe, I not been there for the research. No, but causing the conservation of regeneration of spinal fluid and improvement of formula of fluid, I was almost sure I can help many people.
You were sure?
I don't was so 100% sure, but I know I can improve the immunity. I can improve with fluid formula.
You could improve.
Do the big. I had already the good result with the detoxification of our body. That was using the biologic concentrate. It was so interesting to see the good results with the human beings like with animals. Is not so big difference between the human and the animal. It is life cells and consuming back regularly. Increase the brain nutrition. It is very, very important to keep to have good nutrition on absolutely 100% of our nutrition of our brain. With each time when I improve when I use the algae for the human, I obtain 100% nutrition of our brain 100% of the time, and it was very important to use many time to keep the activity of our hypothalamus.
Well, I'll tell you what, Doctor. I get the impression you felt very sure that you were going to be able to help the people in Chernobyl. You followed spinal fluids monitoring and blood monitoring, and with those two nutrients to the brain, I felt that was the same concept you were working with the animals. You said, this can work with humans, and lo and behold, that in fact absolutely did occur. Sir, it is my honor. I can't tell you how good I feel about having the opportunity for you to come onto the show this morning. Our hour is over. I hope you allow me to impose upon you again sometime in the future to return. Roland, I want to thank you for helping in a United Nations fashion, helping to pull this off. I appreciate your help here. Dr. Hiriak, it's an honor to have spoken to you, sir. Hope to meet you in the flesh and the living. Shake your hand one day in the very near future.
Thank you very much, and I'm sorry because of my English.
There is no problem with your English. You're doing just fine. Roland, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Dennis.
Okay. I'll be talking to you. We'll get you back. Folks, there you have it. You were part of an international first. You met the man and Roland this time. We'll bring him back in the near future, folks. Enjoy your day, and don't forget to file before midnight. Bye now.
AM Impact on Your Health is sponsored by Dennis J. Courtney, MD, Director of the Courtney Medical Group, located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray, Pennsylvania. For more information or to make an appointment, call 724-942-3002. That's 724-942-3002 for Dennis J. Courtney, MD.